this is Kay, and today I'm bringing you a tutorial on this mini album. This was a DT project that I made for Authentique using one of their latest collections, which is called Beloved. It is a Valentine's themed paper collection. And this particular mini album caught the eyes of many people. It is a pop-up mini album, and it takes into account the same concept as the pop-up card. I'm sure you've seen many tutorials out there and on a pop-up card. Other people call it a twist and fold card, so it has different names, but basically it is a card that when you open it up, you have this middle piece that pops up. So we took this same concept as a card and turned it into a mini album. So you have 3 pop-ups in the mini album. You have the first one here, you close that, then you have the second one that opens on this side, and you close that, and you turn it around, and there's a third one in the back. Alright, now before I get started, let me say that this was not my original idea. This pop-up mini album was actually created by a fellow YouTuber and a very gifted individual called Alagaina. She lives in Spain, and therefore her tutorial is in Spanish. So, when I posted this project for Authentique, both Authentique and myself received many requests asking for a tutorial. I did send them to Alagaina's tutorial, but as I previously mentioned, the tutorial is in Spanish. And even though she gives, measurements in both inches and centimeters, I still kept getting the request that they would love to have the tutorial in English. So that's basically what this tutorial is. I am translating her tutorial. So, in the description below, I am going to leave a link to Alagaina YouTube channel, which is full of amazing projects. I mean, I think this woman is a genius. I've done several of her projects, and I am so grateful that my mom made me learn Spanish, because now I can take all of her fabulous tutorials. So make sure you give her a visit, and I'm also going to leave a link to the original tutorial. So I reached out to Alagaina and asked for permission to translate her tutorial, and she graciously gave me permission to do so. So, Alagaina, si estás viendo este video, muchas gracias. Se lo agradezco mucho. So, that was just a shout out to Alagaina. So, alright, so let's get started. What you're gonna need. Alright, you're gonna need 2 pieces of cardstock measuring 4 inches by 12 inches. 3 pieces of cardstock measuring 3.5 inches by 10 inches. 3 more pieces measuring 3.5 inches by 8 inches. And 1 small little piece of cardstock measuring 1.5 inches by 4 inches. Okay. As you can see, these are all pre-cut and pre-scored, but don't worry, I am going to walk you through how I did all the scoring here. So let's start with the 4 by 12 inch pieces of cardstock. Take out my little scoring tool here. So, the 2 pieces of 4 inches by 12 inches, these are going to be your covers. These get scored in half at the 6-inch mark. Okay, so score both of these at 6 inches and set them aside. Okay, the next one, let's take the 3.5 by 10 inch pieces of cardstock. And these 3 guys are gonna be the actual panels that pop up when you open the mini album. So these guys, you're gonna score at, you're gonna place your cardstock on the 10-inch side, And you're gonna score at 2.5, 5, and 7.5. Okay, so once again, you're gonna place the cardstock on the 10-inch side, and you're gonna score at 2.5, 5, and 7.5. And you're gonna do the same thing for all 3 pieces of cardstock. So once you're done doing that, set aside. Next, you're gonna take your 3 pieces, measuring 3.5 by 8, and you're gonna put it on the 3.5-inch side, and you're gonna score it in the middle at 1 3/4. Okay, once again, you're gonna take these 3 pieces and you're gonna put it on the 3.5-inch side, and you're gonna score in the middle at 1 3/4 inches. And you're gonna do that for all 3 pieces. Same thing. 3.5-inch side, scored at 1 3/4. Put those aside. And finally, you're gonna take your little guy, the 1.5 by 4-inch. You're gonna place it on the 1.5-inch side, and you're gonna score in the middle at 3/4 of an inch. So place it on the 1.5-inch side and score at 3/4 of an inch. Okay? You're done with most of your scoring. Okay. So let's take all our cardstock and let's take these again. These are the 3.5 by 8-inch pieces of cardstock. This is going to be the actual mechanism that is going to allow the pop-up panels to actually pop up. So this is what we're going to form next. Now, in Alagaina's tutorial, she used a ruler to mark 2 1/4 inches in from either side and mark it with a pencil. I could not do that because I am perpetually lopsided. I tried several times to do it with a ruler, and every single time this piece would just not come out right. So I'll leave it up to you. The way she did it was all you need is 2 1/4 inches from both sides. You just need to mark it, okay, on both sides. So you got to mark it 2 1/4 from here, 2 1/4 from here, turn it, 2 1/4 from here, and 2 1/4 from here. Okay, you could do it the way she did it. She basically did it with a ruler, and she measured 2 1/4 inches, and she made a little tick mark. She did the same thing here, measured 2 1/4, did a little tick mark, flipped it over, 2 1/4 inches in, tick mark, 2 1/4 inches in, tick mark. All right. The way I do it is with the use of my scoreboard. I found that that worked out much better for me. So the way I do it is I put it on the 8-inch side, and I mark at 2 1/4 right here, and at 5 3/4. 5 3/4 is 2 1/4 from the inside. All right, so if you flip it over, it'll be 2 1/4 inches. So at 5 3/4 is where I do my other tick mark. I flipped it, 2 1/4, did a little tick mark, and then at 5 3/4 did a little tick mark. Okay, you're gonna do that on all 3 pieces of cardstock. The ones measuring 3.5 by 8. Okay. Once you're done doing that, you are going to connect your tick marks diagonally, and you're going to pretty much create an X. All right. And the way I go about doing that is, if you notice on my scoreboard, I have the 6-inch mark highlighted with a Sharpie pen. I used a thin line, fine line Sharpie pen, and I went all the way down to 6-inch mark. So this helps me align things that I can't exactly hold flush against the ruler up here. This is a guide, and Alagaina shows that on her tutorial as well. So I found that highlighting this helps out a lot. So basically what you're going to do here is, where's my scoring tool. Here it is. What you're gonna do here is, you're gonna take, so you have your 4 tick marks, and you're gonna align one tick mark with the other tick mark on the diagonal side, okay? And that's how you're gonna score. So you align your tick marks according to this score, the 6-inch score line, which is what I have highlighted in a Sharpie. And you're gonna align it here, and then you're gonna score like that. And then you're gonna do the same thing with the other 2 tick marks diagonally. So you're gonna align your 1 tick mark here, the other tick mark right there, make sure they're aligned just right, and then you're gonna score, okay? And you should end up with an X. I don't know if you could see it there in the camera, but it looks like you can right there. You have an X right there, okay? And you're gonna do the same thing on all 3 of these. All right, so as you can see, mine are already pre-scored, and every single one of them has the little X right here, because I connected my tick marks, and it creates an X. See it right there? And same here, the X. All right, now, at this point, you're done with all the scoring. So you can put your score tool away. All right. And now we're going to continue making the mechanisms right here. So you're going to fold on all your score lines and burnish, and that's what I did. So I started with the folding down the middle, which was the first score mark we did, burnish, and then you're going to burnish your X's as well. So you're going to fold in, burnish, get the other diagonal fold, burnish, okay, open it up, and then you're gonna push these two are gonna go in and just keep pushing, and you're gonna end up with like a little house or an arrow, depends on how you look at it. All right, this is what it should look like when you're done, like that. All right, and then finish burnishing. Burnish them real good. And you're done. Let's do that one more time. So you're gonna score, burnish, score your diagonal pieces. There you go, fold, fold the other side, fold, pick it up, and push these 2 in. There you go, okay? And you should form your little house, just like that. And you do the same for the last one. Okay. Now we're ready to start assembling our mini album. So let's get our little houses here. So let's take one of the covers. And remember, we scored that in half, so now you can fold that on the score line, burnish. Okay. And you're gonna open that up. You're gonna take one of your little houses over here. And we're gonna adhere. We're gonna put glue only in this top triangle part right here. We're gonna put glue, and that's what we're gonna stick right onto our inner cover, okay? And it has to be centered, so you have the same amount of room here as you do here. And the very tip of the triangle, you want it to be just on the score line, not over it, and not right on it, but right, just barely touching it. So it barely touches by a hair right there, like that. That's how you want it. You want to adhere it. Okay? So centered from here, so you have the same amount of borders on both sides. and the very tip of your triangle barely touching this score line. All right, Alagaina uses double-sided score tape for this. Again, I am perpetually lopsided, so the way I do it is I use wet glue, clear, drying wet glue, for the first step, because there's just no way that I'm gonna get this perfectly aligned the first time around. So when I use the wet glue, it gives me a little wiggle room so that I can move it around to make it just right. So bear with me. So we're gonna apply glue right here. We're gonna put that on right here. Make sure that their borders are the same on both sides. This one you gotta eyeball. And then make sure there you go. See, mine was going over a little. I had to look at it the right way. There you go. That's how you want it to be. And don't worry about the excess glue. That'll come right off. So let's give that just a few minutes to dry there. That's how I want it. That's how I like it. Okay. Now, for the other side, I do use double-sided tape here because once this is adhered, it's straight. You can't mess it up at this point anymore. So, where's my double-sided tape? Here it is. And let's put some tape on this little triangle right here. Okay. Burnish that a little bit there. Make sure that glue sticks on pretty good. And let's start taking this off. And then you're gonna take the other side of your cover and you're just gonna fold it in. And press down. And then when you open it up, there you have it. Your mechanism is already in place. In fact, I just realized that it doesn't even matter that if a little bit of glue comes out. You're not gonna see it anyway. It dries clear, and then once you have this in place, you open it up, you don't see anything in here anyway. It's covered up. Okay. Now you do the same thing for your other cover. Let's put this one aside for now. And here's your other cover. Same thing. Okay, now, next step, let's adhere these guys, the actual panels themselves that are gonna pop up. So, these were already, put this aside over here, these were already scored. So now you're gonna fold, and this is just a basic accordion fold. Mountain Valley fold. All right, so this way, this way, this way. And you're gonna do the same thing for all three. Once you have that done, let's take one of these guys again. Take one of these. We're going to open this. Face it this way. Okay. What we're going to do is, we want to fold, well, actually, first thing we're going to do is take your ruler, okay, and here, you're going to mark the center of this piece. So you're going to place a little tick mark on the center of this piece right here. So, put your ruler right there, flush against this. It should measure 4 inches. Right there, so the middle is 2 inches. And you make a little tick mark right there. Okay. Then you're going to take one of your panels and you're going to fold the 2 ends in like that. Alright. So you're going to take the middle piece, the middle score line, and you're going to align that with the little tick that you just put on right there. So you're going to align it just like that. Okay? So basically, the middle of this piece, which is, you put a mark right there, should align with the middle of this piece, which is this score line right here. That's the center. So you align those like that, you fold one end in, you fold the other end in, and then you do a mark right here, just to the middle right here. So you're gonna make like a little square box right here, okay? So you're only gonna mark it like this, and on the other side, diagonally, you're gonna do the same mark right here, like that. Okay? And then you can take this out, and this is what you end up with. I hope you could see that. Yeah, you can. All right? So I did one mark here, and on the diagonal side, I did another mark here. And this basically is gonna tell you where you need to put your glue so that you can adhere the panels, these panels right here. All right? So now you're only gonna put glue in these 2 areas right here. Right here and right here. These are the only 2 places you're going to put glue right now. Alright? So for this, I also use double-sided tape. Here it's a little difficult for me to mess up that bad. I mean, I'm lopsided, but I'm not that lopsided. So let's put some glue here, only in this area that I marked off. It's one little corner. Let's do the same on this side. Burnish. Okay. Remove. Let's do just one side first. So let's do this side first. Okay. Take your panel. Align the center again with the middle, the little tick mark you did right here. You're going to align this again. Right there. And right there. Make sure it's aligned this way too. So make sure you're aligning here and here. It should be centered. Pretty much it should be falling along the same line as this right here. That's what I'm trying to say. So these 2 edges should align with these 2 edges. All right, so let's do this again. There's the middle I'm aligning the middle, and then I'm aligning these two sides, making sure that that's pretty good. And that looks about right. And then we're gonna just put that right out and adhere that. Burnish. And then you're gonna do the same thing on this side. And open that up. And put it down. There you go. Okay, so you got one pop-up panel done. Okay, there you go. Oh, side view. Okay, and now you're gonna do the exact same thing on the second one. Okay. Okay, now we're gonna do the third and last pop-up panel for this mini album, and I'm gonna show you how that is done. Okay, so basically you're gonna take the two that you've already created, all right, and you're gonna put them like this, one on top of the other, both facing the same way. Okay. And then you're going to flip the top one, the first one over like that. And basically, this is where you're going to join the two pieces. All right. And that's when this little guy comes in. This is your 1.5 by 4 inch strip of cardstock that you scored down the middle. And this is going to be the hinge that's going to connect these two together. All right, so let's just put these two together. So basically, it's going to be like this. You're going to put that one there and the other one there, and it's going to connect them like that. Yep. Okay. So let's put glue on this side. Okay, that, like that, and then we turn it around, and here's going to be your last pop-up. So, on the same side where you just adhered your hinge, you're going to do the same thing you did for the other two panels. So the first thing you're going to do is you're going to take your last little house, and you're going to adhere it like that. And then you're going to do your little markings and stuff, and then you're going to adhere the pop-up panel. And that's what I'm going to do now. There you have it. So now you're done. That is the base of your pop-up mini album. Put all this stuff away. Okay, so there you have it. So you have the front side opens like that. You have the second one opens like that. And you flip it, and then you have the third one that opens like that. Beautiful. Done. Now, how you decorate it, that's up to you. I think for this one, it takes a little bit for it to get fully burnished so it doesn't pop up so much. But for this one, where did I leave it? I think I'm gonna use one of Authentique's latest collections. This is an Easter themed paper, Eastertime. That's what this one's called. And I think this one is what I'm gonna use to decorate this mini album. I think that'll look nice. So this is gonna be an Easter themed or maybe a spring themed mini album. And I'm just gonna come back once it's fully decorated to show you the finished product. Because how you decorate it is really up to you. For the Beloved mini album, I made a side pocket here, and I put some life cards in there. This side I left blank. Here, I created a little envelope, and I put some little tags in there as well. And I believe Alagaina on her tutorial did the same thing. I think she added an envelope on one side, and I left this one blank. And then on the back one, I just created a belly band on one side. I left this one blank, and I tucked in a couple more cards right here. And that's how I decorated this one. See, as you can see, once it gets settled, it stays pretty flat. See, it doesn't pop up like this one. This one's just popping up. It takes a little bit for it to get used to being flat, but trust me, eventually it stays flat. It stays down like this, okay? And then I hold it closed with a little elastic belly band. This is actually a ribbon that I found at Hobby Lobby, but it has spandex in it, so it stretches. And that's what I'm using as sort of a belly band to keep the mini album closed. All right, so I'm gonna decorate this one, and then I'll be right back to show you the finished product. Okay, so I'm back to show the finished product, and here it is, fully embellished and ready to go. So I pretty much kept the same design as the Beloved pop-up mini album. I think I only made one minor change on the inside, but other than that, I kept pretty much the same decorations. So in the front, I put a little flocked bunny and some mulberry paper flowers and fabric flowers, and a little spray right here, little tiny flowers on it. And that's pretty much it for the front cover. And here's the back. And I'm using a belly band to kind of keep it together. As you can see, it's already flattening. Remember when I first made this? It kept popping up. Now that it's, you know, that it's fully decorated and I keep folding it down, it's starting to settle. So again, this is a ribbon actually, but spandex ribbon. It's actually has a bit of an elasticity to it, and that's what I'm using to hold the mini together. Okay, and here's the first pop-up. Okay, I left this side blank and I added a little bit of a glitter washi tape over here. And this is the only difference, the only thing I changed from the Beloved mini album. I added an extra flap here. And here's the inside pocket that I had in the Beloved mini album. So the only thing I added was this extra flap for additional photos or journaling or whatever. So in the pocket I added two cards from the Eastertime collection. Okay, so that's the first pop-up panel. And here's the second one. The second one I kept pretty much the same as the Beloved pop-up album. I left this side blank, and over here I made an envelope with my We Are Memory Keepers envelope punch. And inside are 2 life cards from the collection. It was really cute with the little ducky. And that one. Okay. And finally, here's the last pop-up. And for this one, I kept the design also just like the Beloved mini album. I added a belly band on this side, and on this side I left it blank. So in here I have a little tag from the paper collection, and another life card. And that's pretty much it. So I hope you all enjoyed this mini album tutorial, and that you you give it a try at home. It comes together, I mean, once you get the hang of it, it comes together pretty quickly, and it makes for a really cute gift for any theme, really. So hope you enjoyed this tutorial. I hope you found it inspirational, and thanks for stopping by. Have a good night.